Now it's time to move into the most exciting part of this grill's ability. It is the charcoal mode. So first, let's go over the controller. So as you can see, the controller looks fairly different from other Pit Boss controllers. You don't see a power button, but yet you see a P and a C power button. One represents the pellet power mode, the other represents the charcoal power mode. This unit is not meant to be switched back and forth between pellet or charcoal mode. It is one or the other. So now that we have gotten to this point, we're going to show you how to switch this unit over so you can use charcoal. First, you remove the lid. We're going to remove the cooking grate and the charcoal basket. Now that these are removed, you can see that's inside of here is what's known as the heat tent. This is the thing that needs to be removed in order for you to use this in charcoal mode. So we're just going to place this underneath the unit. Now we can reassemble. So we're going to go right back in with the charcoal tray. You're going to notice it's going to sit a little bit further down in the grill. Take note that this unit has been designed to use briquettes. You're going to want to start depending on your heat range. Like in any instance when you're cooking with charcoal, if you're going to be cooking at lower temperatures, let's start between 10 and 15 briquettes before we start the startup mode. If you're going to be cooking any hotter than that, you can fill the basket all the way around to the inside to the outer edge, but do not stack the charcoal. You just want a solid, even layer of charcoal in the bottom before we start the startup process. We're going to be cooking at a rather hotter temperature today, so we're going to be between 450 and 500 degrees high heat grilling. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fill the basket in the bottom completely, one single level. This is as much as you're going to want to put in there. Notice you want to spread it out, and again, you do not want it stacked. You want it a nice even layer across. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the goal is to not stack your charcoal. Nice even layer. All right, this is what you're looking for. One nice solid even layer in the charcoal tray. Now that we have our charcoal in our charcoal basket, we can go ahead and replace the grate and we can move into the startup process. Place the lid on. Now instead of pressing the pellet button, we're going to hit the charcoal power button. Once the unit starts, okay, so what's going to happen here is that the unit's going to start like any other pellet grill will. So it's going to feed pellets and it's going to start the pot. What's going to happen is that it's going to burn pellets and run the fan until it runs to 350 degrees. Once it reaches 350 degrees, the fan is going to run for an additional 10 minutes to make sure that your charcoal is lit. Once the fan completely turns off and you don't hear it running, that's when you can remove the lid and continue to move forward with your cook. This process can take anywhere from 15 to 18 minutes. So now we're just going to step away and let this thing preheat. We'll catch back in a second. All right, guys, as you can hear, the fan has turned off, which means we're ready to get in the grilling. Keep in mind, heat rises, so this handle could potentially be really hot when you grab it. So have yourself a glove or a nice hand towel handy when you remove the lid. Now that this thing is nice and hot and ready to start cooking, let's move into our next two recipes.